Welcome to episode 79. Today we'll be talking about Disneyland canceling the AP program, Lucasfilm games, the return of Captain America, and more. You're watching the Castles, Capes, and Clones vlogcast, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe, from Disney news to Marvel, from Pixar to Star Wars, from ABC to the Muppets. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post. Hi everybody, I'm Loren, and I'm here with my cousin and co-pilot, Rich. How are you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a quiet birthday this week. I wanted to share one of my gifts because I love it so much. But it is, hold on, I just want to make sure that I'm showing it right. But it is this lovely Jim Shore of Mulan with Big Brother and Mushu. And it's so beautiful. Like every time I look at it, it's just so beautiful. My sister gave me this. Just look at some of the detailing of this. Look at some of the detailing. It's amazing.
Nice.
I just love it. I love it so much.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, kind of a relatively quiet birthday. Nothing. Had a really nice dinner. My mom and her husband treated us all out. Nice. And yeah, just been recording away like a madman. I can't wait for the next few hours until WandaVision. Oh, yeah. I can't believe that it's
finally here.
Tonight we'll hear.
I know. After this, I got to take a nap and then get up at like 12 and watch it and then go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, and they're supposed to be 30-minute episodes. So,
okay.
Yeah, so
it makes sense. Scissor sitcom E.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, I have no idea what to expect. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, can't wait. I can't wait.
Like I saw both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany on, the talk show circuit. And even then, like when they're talking about it, one, obviously it's Marvel, so they can't say much.
Right.
But what they do say, I still have no idea.
Yeah.
What it's about.
Yeah, I watched their virtual launch event on the internet. Yeah, just fun stuff. And I keep forgetting that Randall Park and what's her name? The one that plays Darcy.
Kat Dennings.
Kat Denning, yeah. Kat Denning. Yeah, she's in that. I just can't wait to see what's in store for Monica Rambeau. Like, how are they going to do? Is she going to be a hero? Are we going to see any of that in this movie, or are we going to see that in another movie? Who knows?
Who knows?
The sky is the limit.
Find out in the next 9. There's 9 episodes, right?
Yeah.
9. 8 weeks because there's two tomorrow. Or there's 2 when they premiere, right?
Yeah, 2 tonight.
Okay.
And so then, so it'll be over 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, tune into the channel because we will be doing our WandaVision podcast thing, whatever we call it. I don't know.
I know. We'll still need to workshop that.
We'll workshop it for 8 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to workshop it for 8 weeks, and then into the second season, if they have a second season.
One. We'll still workshop it during Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right, exactly. All right, well, let's get on to the news. We start our news from within the castle gates for Disney news. So, as I mentioned in the intro, Disneyland is canceling its annual pass holder program and is going to develop some new structure that offers flexibility and value. And this, I mean, like, usually our news, like, we miss the news of the day
I don't know.
by like minutes. This one we caught right before the show. So we are ahead of the game.
Yeah.
What do you think of all this, Mishnas?
I think it means that this is now a collector's item. I was always wondering how they were going to deal with annual pass holders.
Yeah.
In Disney World, they still have annual passes, if I'm not mistaken, but they also have the system where you need to reserve your park. So it's like, it's not guaranteed that you get in. And I always thought that was weird because, when we get our annual passes, it's pretty much, especially our tier, which is the top tier.
Yeah.
300. There's no blackout dates whatsoever. We can go whenever we
want.
feel like it. And I mean, I'm assuming it's because like Disney World has a different kind of clientele, right? Where Disneyland is mostly probably pass holders. So
yeah,
I was wondering how they're going to deal with a limited capacity with so many pass holders and what they're going to do and whatnot. And I mean, it sounds like it's just, I bet it's going to be similar to the Flex Pass. Like you buy into this thing for whatever, how much, I can't remember how much the Flex Pass costs, but then you plan out your visits and you'll have to, as far as what I remember, is like you pick your days, but then you can't just pick every day and then just go whenever. It's like you have to pick your day, and then if you show up, cool. If you don't show up, it's like a strike. And if you do that too many times, then you're kind of like barred from making any reservations for a while, and then whatever. So I'm assuming it's going to be similar to that, so that there's a little bit of control on crowd size.
Right.
But, I'm not super upset because at the same time, when they open, depending on the state of things, I probably wouldn't go right away unless I was fully vaccinated, and two, that they still maintained a little bit of safety.
Yeah. Yeah, I often ask myself, would I go right when they open? I mean, it's been so long since I've been there that I can't even, I want to go as soon as possible,
right?
But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I just right now it just seems inconceivable that Disneyland is going to open
anytime soon. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I will be, for me, who has to come, a while away, I have to plan out my days anyway. So, I guess it doesn't, like it wouldn't hurt me to have that kind of flex pass anyway.
I mean, yeah, like unless it costs the same to do the thing like that we paid for an annual pass,
right?
At least this way it kind of gives you, I don't know, there's still a good way to save money by doing it this way, instead of just buying a ticket for the day. And for the days, especially with what's going on, we probably wouldn't go as much. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. So maybe like for us, I feel like our biggest thing was that we justify how much we pay because we go enough where it pays for itself.
Right.
You know, I mean, definitely me, because I was there like every other day. So it, you know, in just like a month or two, I'm already paid for it. But you know, if we're not going to go that often, maybe this is the best way, like a flex thing where it's still cheaper if you go enough a year, but you're not paying as much because you're not going as much. So
I just want them to still have Max Pass.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, because they don't have, well, one, they don't do fast passes in Disney World, so
right, that will be interesting to see if they will continue to do. Yeah,
at least right now, right? There's so many things that they're not doing. Like it's a different landscape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they adopt everything that they do in Disney World, which I'm sure they're going to do a lot of it, so fast passes are probably definitely going to be a thing, or not. I
wonder if they have Photo Pass.
I don't know if they have Photo Pass,
because that's a big deal to me. Is a Photo Pass. Like I use it all the time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hopefully.
I'm trying to think to all the Disney World YouTubers I follow, but they usually just do so I don't know if they actually talk about Photo Pass.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody talk about Photo Pass or really Fast Pass.
Fast Pass, I've heard like there's just none. They don't do it right now. So,
yeah.
But I don't know about Photo Pass.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do some research on that.
Look into it.
I will look into it. All right. Well, let's move on. So Seoul, The Mandalorian, and Palm Springs were winners at the Critics' Choice Super Awards. Let me just see what they won here. Hold on. So Seoul won Best Animated Movie, and Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey won Best Voice Actor and Actress in the Animated Movie. The Mandalorian won Best Science Fiction and Science Fiction Fantasy Series, and Palm Springs won Best Science Fiction Fantasy Movie. So, yeah.
So three very different things.
Right. Exactly.
Seoul, The Mandalorian, and Palm Springs.
Yeah. I liked Palm Springs. I thought that was a good movie. It was fun. Mm-hmm. And of course, I love The Mandalorian. And I like Seoul. So.
I like Seoul.
I'm going to have to watch it again. I'm going to have to watch Seoul again. You know, there's so many people that love it. And, you know, I don't dislike it. I just don't love it.
Yeah. I mean,
and I can say...
like, I was going to say, like, I don't love Inside Out. You love that movie.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Different movies for different people. Like, Ratatouille is up there for me, but I connect to it in a different way. I'll connect to Soul in a different way than...
Yeah.
Right.
Is it the cooking?
Yeah, as someone who... It's not just the cooking, it's just that I spent a lot of time in a restaurant kitchen, and it is a very... I mean, it's not the same kind of kitchen with a high-end Frenchy kind of thing, but like there's something about kitchen culture that they kind of get, you know, and that's why it just reminds me of like those days, because I like, as much as it was hard work and, you know, long days, there's something about working in the kitchen of a restaurant on the line, as it is, it's almost like a daily battle, and you kind of like at the end of the day, you feel like you've accomplished a lot every single day. So
Yeah.
there's something about it that spoke to me. So, and then obviously Soul as a musician, I get
You
it.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I'm like, why don't I love this film is because I connect with Pete Docter's films. So Up, obviously one of my favorites. Inside Out, obviously one of my favorites. So it's kind of strange for me that I don't feel the same way about Soul. But yeah, like you said, to each their own. You can't force me to like something more than I
Love
do.
this.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, it's good. All these programs winning the Critics' Choice Super Awards.
Yeah, it's just weird like having awards because I don't.
Yeah, I know.
It's like there's certain things that go on that it's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's
There
still
are
happening.
awards.
Those things are
Yeah.
still happening.
Yeah.
So
It is the world keep it going on.
right, like sometimes I forget, like I'm a sports guy too, so like sometimes I forget, like, oh yeah, that's right, there are championships going on right now, and it's like like playoffs and whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to sometimes remember that life is going on despite
Everything
craziness.
that's happening. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, Ben Affleck is going to be directing The Keeper of Lost Cities, which is a young adult book series. And it's about a young telepath that has to like run away to protect her family, and because she's a telepath. And it's apparently a popular series, so I don't know anything more than that, but I think that's interesting that Ben Affleck is going to be directing it.
The whole it's a series. He's directing all of it?
I don't know. It sounds like it's. I don't even know if it's going to be a TV series or a movie
based on a series.
Based on a series of books.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if he would commit to a series.
A television series.
Yeah. But I mean, who knows the way Hollywood is right now, that it could very well. I mean, like it would be one of those things where like, it's probably steady work for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's done Jon Favreau really well.
Right. And he's a father. Like when he did Batman, he was talking about like, I get to be a Batman for my kid. So maybe
doing something for his kids.
Yeah. That's cool. I like Ben Affleck.
Yeah. You go, Ben Affleck.
That's right.
All right. Well, one sad piece of director news is that John M. Chu is going to be exiting the Disney Plus Willow series. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, he had to do it on his own accord because of the COVID restrictions, and I guess apparently he has a new baby on the way.
Yeah.
And the scheduling didn't work out.
I mean, it does change things. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But what's sad is like, he seemed like he was such a big fan.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I think
it's like a dream project. I mean, like, who knows? Maybe if because it's a series, so we don't know if they have any kind of end game for it.
Yeah.
It's only going to go on for a season, couple seasons. Maybe he could come in direct at some point when things are less crazy for him.
Yeah.
So, there's still a window for him to be involved. Maybe not as like the top kind of person, but look at The Mandalorian. It's a Jon Favreau thing, but technically he's only directed one episode. right?
I think so.
He didn't direct any of them last season.
He didn't?
Right?
I
I don't
can't
think
think.
so.
I can't.
No, he didn't.
I mean, he definitely had a big hand in them.
Yeah, he produced this. I think because like I
Yeah.
remember in the making of season 2, he was talking about how he wanted to direct one, and so he directed the first one.
Right.
So yeah, I think if they go, if it's like kind of like the Mandalorian, they can have different directors, and he can definitely come in. So
yeah, and add his input and things like that. Yeah. All right. Well, going back to Disneyland, it is going to become a super point of distribution vaccination site for its county later this week. And so it's going to be distributing vaccines, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't read a lot into it, like saying because it's doing this that it's going to open tomorrow.
Oh, no.
You know, I think that it's just doing its civic duty to become, a place where people can get vaccines. And then, we'll all have to see how the world ends up in a few months, with vaccinations going out.
Yeah. Like I fall into like the third tier, so it's not like I'm gonna get it anytime soon. So, and I imagine that's like the rest of this country. So it does make sense because like a big place with a big parking structure with open areas, so it's not like you have but bunch of people crowding one small facility. There's room for traffic to go through there.
Exactly.
So it makes sense, like that, and some of the like major like sports arenas, like Dodger Stadium, is one. I think, or somewhat maybe one of the other stadiums, but like big areas where people can just line up in their cars. So
yeah,
makes sense. Plus, what else are you gonna do with that area? Might as well help.
Right. Help America.
And I'm sure it doesn't hurt Disneyland's case with the state going like, okay, we'll help out the state.
Yeah.
So when it comes time, remember us.
Think of us when
when you're like, should we have Disneyland open? Yeah.
It does seem like such a fond dream. Just like I've been watching these people at Walt Disney World, and it's like, what are they doing at this park?
Right. What scares me is like every time all those people I watch on the Disney World blogs, it's like they always mention like it's getting more crowded. It's getting like there's the wait times are back to crazy amount of wait times, and like you can't get on Rise of the Resistance anymore, and like there's park hopping, but it's like weird. There,
I mean, it does. It seems like it's so crowded that it doesn't. I can't even imagine there being an opportunity to social distance yourself. I mean, like maybe if you're still, but when you're walking around amongst groups of people, you can't like judge if you're 6 feet apart from everybody.
Yeah, and kids. Like it's
kids.
funny. I was just talking about this with some of my employees, saying like, I've said this before. My employees are based around the globe, right? So I'm give them a point of reference that I come from the U.S. I live near Disneyland, and I used to go to Disneyland all the time. But then I was saying, like, one thing I've realized in these last 10 months is that I haven't gotten sick, like sick. I used to get sick at least 2-3 times a year. So I'm like, this made me realize how much that was probably caused by me being out and about. And I go to Disneyland a lot, so
Yeah.
And I remember Facebook does their like your posts, shows you your posts from different years and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like 4 years ago, my post something was like, got to Disneyland, some kid sneezed on me. Guess I'll be sick for another something.
Right.
And like, but I meant it as like a joke and whatever. But like, if that happened now, I'd totally freak out and be like, oh my God, some kid sneezed on me. What am I going to do?
I know. I know. The other day I went in somewhere and I forgot my mask, and I knew that they were going to give me. It was at my dialysis center, and I knew they were going to give me a mask, so I wasn't that bothered by it. But this one guy just starts hacking, coughing, and I was like, I just remember I like completely turned. I felt so bad, like I didn't want him to feel like a pariah, but at the same time, it's like,
you can't be too
careful.
I mean, luckily, like we all know, like you went through it, and what you went through, you made it out. But there's still, you can still get it again. Like there's not like a super like, all right, you're good. Obviously you probably have some antibodies going through you, but they're not even sure how long that lasts. So
somebody just sent me a report saying that it's supposed to last 5 months. So, but it's still such an untested thing.
Right.
I still want to get the vaccine at some point.
Yeah, of course.
I'm talking to my doctor about that.
Yeah. I mean, like, from what I understand, it's probably going to be part of the vaccination regimen that you have. I'm pretty sure like every, like the flu shot is not just a, if you really look at what the flu shot is, it's like partly some of the other kind of diseases that we've known about, like SARS in there somewhere, like H1N1, whatever. There was like, and it's all part of that flu vaccination. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, because of the nature of this one, it's going to be its own thing. But, some of these things we still get, you just don't really realize that that's part of what our vaccination is every year. Right. So, we just got to keep up with those kind of things.
Yeah, for sure.
But
all right. Well, according to the Nielsen ratings, more people watched Disney Plus than Netflix in 2020.
I feel like we just talked about Nielsen last time.
Yeah, we were just
like, how does that work?
We're trying to figure out. Yeah, we're trying to figure out, are the Nielsen ratings still relevant in the age of streaming? But apparently they are.
Apparently it is.
And apparently they've said that Disney Plus has more viewers than Netflix.
Does that mean that like there's still Nielsen families out there that like?
I guess. I mean, I think that's how they've always done it.
Right. Like still, for anyone who doesn't know, like the Nielsen ratings were based on like what people watched, but like literally they would, I don't know how they give like these like boxes to families, and they call them Nielsen families because that's just part of the system. Like they hook up your box to your TV or something, and then they'd know what you were watching. And that's what the Nielsen
always wanted to be a Nielsen family. Yeah.
I was like, how do you become a Nielsen family?
Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, I just thought that they were like super families,
Yeah, right. That's right. Like all these years, I thought like once like Netflix became super popular and everyone's got a streaming channel or thing now. So I was like, how do they do that?
Yeah. I guess there must be some way that they come up with this information. And I bet you that they do still have Nielsen families out there.
Well, I know there's some people, like, especially like in places with not a lot of, like their internet's not great, but they still do like digital. It's still antenna TV, but it's like digital antennas. But you still physically have something attached to your TV that gets over the air broadcast.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I don't know. It's like this weird, like I don't know what the Nielsen's do now. Like, what's their? Because obviously they've moved to digital streaming because they've got this. So now I want to be one again.
I know. Me too.
Well, maybe not me. I'm probably not the best. I don't watch as much, but
I do.
You do. But I wonder though, like if you're a Nielsen family, do they give you subscriptions to like everything? Because wouldn't that influence your rating? Like if I don't own Disney Plus, then my Nielsen ratings will always never be Disney Plus because I don't have it accessible.
Right. They must give it to you.
What if they get them all? Like they've got like Apple Plus and Peacock,
HBO Max,
and Discovery Plus, and like all these new ones that come out like every single month, like a new subs thing. So
right,
because then yes, I want to be one. If then they give me all the free like subscriptions. But yes, I will watch TV. And be
there you go.
If you give me all the channels.
There you go. Oh, so funny. All right. Well, the Disney Channel's Big City Greens has been renewed for a third season. And I've heard a lot of good things about Big City Greens, but I haven't watched it.
I'm not familiar with it.
But one reason why I put this on here is because not seen it, I can't judge it. Right. But I can't believe that they didn't renew DuckTales.
Oh.
If they're renewing a series like this. That's why I'm hoping that DuckTales will end up on Disney Plus. That's what I'm hoping. And that they're going to move it there, but I don't know. It just seems so weird.
Because obviously it was on Disney Plus, but it wasn't current. It was always like we've already aired these on the Disney Channel, so now it wasn't where the premiere episodes were.
Yeah,
I think maybe if it was on Disney Plus as premiere episodes, it would have done better or something.
Yeah,
like every Friday with the whole list of new shows, it would always be on like what's new. There you go, Disney or DuckTales. So
right.
I don't know. Yeah. Now I'm sad about DuckTales.
Yeah, I am. I know. There you go. All right. Well, the first trailer for Disney Plus's original movie, Flora and Ulysses, has debuted. Did you get a chance to see the trailer?
Yeah, I did. I literally thought it was when I first saw the thumbnail and I didn't read what it was. I'm like, oh my god, they skipped over Squirrel Girl and just went straight for the squirrel.
Right.
What's the squirrel's name? The main squirrel?
Ulysses.
No. Squirrel Girl.
It's oh my god. Why can't I think of?
I keep wanting to say Chip, but it's not Chip.
No, it's not Chip. I'm such a bad fan.
Yeah, you are.
Oh my god, hold on. Wait, please hold. Please hold as I Google this. Squirrel Girl, Squirrel Friend. Tippy Toe.
That's it, Tippy Toe.
That's it, Tippy Toe.
Right.
God. I got Shit Rut in my head for some reason, but I think that's like a villain in the I couldn't get it out of my head, and I knew it wasn't that. I knew that it was something that sounded completely different.
Like when I say, like I said Chip, but it wasn't spelled like CHIP. I was like,
you're thinking of the Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So I'm like, why am I thinking about this? It's not. So I know Chip's a chipmunk.
Right.
So I'm like, why? That's why. But yeah, that's why I was like, when I saw the thumbnail, this is a thumbnail. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. But then we got this. It's not, but it's something better.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they did use all the Marvel heroes at the beginning of the of the trailer, and
that's why I was like, huh.
Yeah, I thought synergy. They're finally like including Marvel as part of Disney. Like I feel like they've always kind of kept it a little separate.
Yeah.
It's always been Star Wars has been closer, but now that they're adopting Marvel a little bit more into Disney, so I'm glad about that. And this reminds me of that Timmy Failure, mistakes are made. That kind of, it's got that kind of vibe to me, and I really enjoyed Timmy Failure, so I think that I'll hopefully really enjoy this as well.
I mean, look, it's got a superhero squirrel.
Yeah, it's got a superhero squirrel.
Super strength. It can fly. It can type.
Right.
It does the superhero landing.
Yes, exactly. You can't.
It talks.
Right.
I mean, it's squirrel talk, but or what did she say in the trailer? It's not really talking, but
yeah.
So
yeah,
I like that the guy from Community is like the villain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks really cute. I think that it'll be fun for sure.
Looks like it. It looks really good.
It looks like a good family film, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like, despite that, like, it's one of it just looks good. Like the animation of that squirrel looks good.
Yeah,
like,
he does look like a
squirrel.
Yeah, he looks like an actual squirrel. Like
they're trying to squirrel the type on a typewriter and land like Iron Man.
Right.
Which, from I want to say, I was looking at some website like actual science and whatever that I can't remember, but I think squirrels actually do land like that when they jump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think someone would always like take pictures of them landing. Like they do kind of do that same thing. Obviously, they don't hold it like a superhero would hold that pose.
Right.
But when they land, it's pretty much that position. But then they just go off and whatever. But like, not even.
We'll see. Iron Man has it right.
So, it will be on my list definitely.
I'll definitely watch it for sure.
Right.
All right. Well, Peyton Elizabeth Lee will be starring in Disney Plus's series Doogie Kamealoha, which is the remake of Doogie Howser, and she will be Doogie Kamealoha. She is a rising star in at Disney. I mean, she's been rising for a while. She was in Andy Mack, then she was in that Secret or Society of Second Born Royals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's been in a lot of things, and so this is just another step on her way up the Disney Plus ladder, or Disney ladder, I should say.
Nice. Does Kamaloha mean something? Do you know?
Well, obviously aloha means something, but I don't know exactly.
The whole. Let me see what it means.
Yeah, it means something. I'm sure it means something. Everything in Hawaiian means something.
It means the beloved one.
Ah, okay. I love the fact that they're going Hawaiian with Doogie Howser, the Doogie Howser saga, or whatever you call it. Then,
I just wonder if every episode is going to end with her having a moment of reflection of what happened in the episode, and there's always that pause
Right.
that NPH did at the end of Doogie Howser. It's like typing on his computer, like today I did da 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 da, and then like that contemplative pause, and then he goes on.
Yeah. They
every
better do that.
every single time.
Yeah.
So
I think they should definitely continue. I mean, that's one of the iconic parts of Doogie Howser.
right.
Yeah.
That, and I can still kind of hear the theme song of it.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah.
Was that an 80s show or a 90s show?
You know, I can't even remember. I think it was. If
Maybe
it
like
wasn't,
in the middle there.
yeah.
Like
If it
between the
wasn't
two?
late '80s, then it had to have been early '90s.
Now I need to find out. Hold on.
I know.
Old. Okay, it started
Magic
in
of
'89.
Google.
It started in '89, ended in '93.
See, I
So.
knew it. It was like late '80s, early '90s.
And of course, the music composer is Mike Post, who did a lot of like TV shows back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very '80s theme song.
Right. Yeah, Mike Post, Hill Street Blues, Law and Order. He did.
Yeah.
Greatest American Hero. So that's why like I know Mike, like he's like the king of like TV music.
TV music.
A-Team, Magnum PI. That's all that dude.
Oh my gosh.
So
such iconic theme songs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now let's move on to the Clone Cantina for our Star Wars news. Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Pretty cool. And if you haven't listened to Rich's Hyperspace Hijinks, where he talks the Holocron, where he talks about first 3 chapters of Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule, you should watch it, and we'll provide a link above and below.
Yeah, it's I don't give you the whole like in everything in detail. I'm not like rehashing what the story like what happens exactly, but I do give you an idea of what happens chapter to chapter. Like the next episode, I'm not sure where the chapter will end. I kind of want to end them at a point where it makes sense for me to end it. Like the first 3 chapters, when I end it, there's a reason why I end it. Like I stop at those first 3 chapters, like depending on the narrative and whatever. But if you don't want to read the books or don't have time or aren't sure, it's meant to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of the books. But I will be going through that book, the young adult book that came out also, and then once I get my hands on the comic, I'll kind of do a recap of the issues. Yeah. Just to, give you a little background what the story is going on over there in the High Republic. Since it's a new era of Star Wars that hasn't been explored in any medium yet. Yeah. And then when the Acolyte comes out, which is one of the shows that they announced, that takes place at the end of the High Republic era. So, maybe before that comes out, getting a taste of what the actual High Republic was might help understand that show. Yeah, but, I think because there's going to be a lot of people, including myself, who are going to be watching the Acolyte who haven't watched who haven't read the books. Yeah, and would like to get that. Like I enjoyed your episode because I thought that it was very succinct and explained everything really well, but wasn't too overly long or. Yeah, it's the one thing that it's like I go over 3 chapters in less than 5 minutes. Like it's pretty. I take basically the chapter and like the main beats of it, I'll kind of even then kind of like fill them together into a very quick summary. So you know what's going on in the book, what it's about. You'll hear names probably once the main characters pop up in the story, but I'm not going to go through a big like deep dive into it. I think once the episodes are over for that one book, maybe I'll do an episode where I just go over my thoughts about it and stuff like that. So
yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. All right. So Kevin Kiner, the composer for the Clone Wars, wasn't he also Rebels?
Yes, he was.
Yes, and Rebels will return to score the Bad Batch animated series, which is great.
Yeah, I liked his take on Star Wars. You know, obviously it was very, very John Williams influenced, but he did make it his own. And you know, if you haven't seen the last 4 episodes of season 7, like perfect. It was perfect. Like,
oh yeah,
his music to that. You know, I think out of all the people who have done Star Wars, I think still is my favorite. In the sense of like Star Wars, like I think oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Mandalorian.
Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah, like his is a different style. Like his fits the Mandalorian, but Kevin Kiner kind of, you know, despite what it is, he's had to do John Williams without doing John Williams.
Yeah, he fits that kind of epic. The prequel trilogy was more like that epic, lots of things going on kind of thing. And whereas with Ludwig Göransson, take it down to one person solo in a world. So they are going to be very different sounding.
Yeah. But I feel I was almost like I took it for granted. Like, of course he's going to do. It's kind of like you take like John Williams for granted. Of course he's going to do Star Wars.
Right.
Of course Kevin Kiner's going to come back for the Bad Batch, but it's never really a guarantee. So
yeah.
I'm glad he's back because I think because the Bad Batch seems to me like another continuation of Clone Wars, and so much of that was Kevin Kiner's music. So
oh yeah, for sure.
I'm excited about that. That's confirmed.
Yeah, me too. I think that for all the points that you've raised, I think that he's going to be great. All right. Well, Lucasfilm is launching Lucasfilm Games, and it's announced a new Indiana Jones game and a story-driven open-world Star Wars game, which you'll have to explain to me what that is.
So this is significant on different levels. One, like before the acquisition by Disney, Lucasfilm did have a game studio called LucasArts.
Right.
And in like the late 80s, 90s, they did a lot of really good titles that weren't strictly just Star Wars based. They did these adventure type narrative games that they don't really make anymore. It's almost like point and click, like Full Throttle, Sam & Max are the two that kind of come to my mind right now. But they were like these stories that where you just click around the screen. I mean, this is back in the old days of computers, so it wasn't like super graphics heavy and whatever. And then, of course, they did the X-Wing series games and an Indiana Jones game also. But a lot of criticism at the end of their run. They didn't really do much. Anything they did was kind of okay. And so when the acquisition happened, they announced also that Lucasfilm or LucasArts was shutting down. And then they kind of gave the license to Electronic Arts for a little bit. They're the ones who did Fallen Order and Battlefront and Squadrons. So the successful in their own right. But I think what's happening now is that license agreement is the contract is, I know it's not being renewed, but they're not going to be exclusively only Star Wars because Bethesda, which is another company studio, is doing the Indiana Jones game, and then Ubisoft is doing the Star Wars game, and these are. So it sounds to me like Lucasfilm Games is kind of like the umbrella moniker for anything that's made for Lucasfilm. Yeah. So open world kind of means like it's a story, but you can almost have the freedom to go wherever you want in this world. So you can almost, like, if you think of like Jedi Fallen Order is a story-driven game, but it's kind of on rails. And what that means is like you are led down a path. Like there's no real deviation. Like you have, it's one storyline you're following, and there's specific routes you go.
Right.
Open world means there's a story, like an overall encompassing story, but in the game itself, you have the freedom to almost do whatever you want.
Wow. Kind of like what was that Disney game that we had where you could build a world. What was it called?
Oh, Infinity?
Yeah, Infinity, like Infinity, but with a story.
Kinda. I mean, yeah. I mean, like Infinity was more. I don't know. It's a little bit different because like nothing in the world did anything to the story. Like anywhere in an open world thing, like you're still living in that world. There's a narrative, and anywhere you go in that world still adds to it, but there's a main storyline that you can get to however you want to. For video game players, like, well, if you're a video game player, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but it's like Fallout's, your Grand Theft Autos, your even like games like Zelda Breath of the Wild. These are kind of open world games where there's a story, but you don't necessarily have to follow a path. You're not led to the end story. You're free almost to make your own choices, so to speak. So that's what open world is.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh. Very cool. All right. Well, we'll just have to see what happens with Lucasfilm Games and all the games that it'll have under it. Okay, well, speaking about his new movie, The Marksman, Liam Neeson was asked about the possibility of appearing as Qui-Gon Jinn in the Obi-Wan series, and he said that he hasn't heard anything about it, but that he would be up for it. And that would be awesome if he that just obviously would be in a flashback sequence.
Yeah, I think when they approached him, it was like, would you have liked to feel as a flashback or even as a Force ghost?
Or a Force ghost.
Because in the narrative, he's the one, like, he's like Yoda learned how to do that from Qui-Gon.
Right.
And as presumably, Yoda then passed that on to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
In the so now Legends, there's an Obi-Wan book, which is actually pretty good. Like it's worth a read. There's an Obi-Wan book about his kind of early days on Tatooine, where there's a scene where he does commune and talk to Qui-Gon. So,
which would make sense, especially if you went into exile.
Yeah. So I can see it. I think what's funny about like his answer is that like there's the article further explained that he was smiling about it, and it kind of, and they're like, it's kind of in the way like something, you just can't really admit to anything. Kind of like when, and I've seen people ask Rosario Dawson about it. Because I mean, Rosario Dawson knew about Ahsoka before the premiere of season 1 of The Mandalorian. Yeah. I think if if Liam Neeson was involved in Obi-Wan, he's already done it. He's already been there, or something. He knows whether or not he's in it by
Right.
now. So there is a chance. Like, he didn't all out deny it. I mean, he kind of gave the same kind of answer that Ewan McGregor would be like, "Oh yeah, I'd be up for it." Well, that'd be great if we did that. I'm like, oh, they asked me, I'll go ahead and do it. So it's almost like similar answers to Ewan McGregor when asked about doing Obi-Wan again. So
yeah.
And Liam Neeson's not a stranger to coming back to Star Wars. Like, he's done voice work, so it's not like he hasn't done anything.
He came back for Rebels, right? Was it Rebels?
Maybe.
Was it Rebels or was it Clone Wars? I can't remember.
It could have been Clone Wars. Maybe it was Clone Wars.
It was one of them. It was one of them that I think he came back for it.
And then I think he was one of the Jedi at the end of Rise of Skywalker speaking.
Yeah.
And like, you hear him in Force Awakens.
Are you right?
I think you it's still unclear as some of the voiceover in Force Awakens when Rey has her kind of vision when she touches the lightsaber. Because some people say, like, while it's lines that we've heard before, some people say that they actually re-recorded them for that. So who knows?
I wouldn't doubt it.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, like, he still has a relationship with Star Wars. So
right.
And I just feel like it would make sense if, let's say, they're exploring kind of Obi-Wan and his, because, you know, you gotta remember, Obi-Wan at this point has failed, right?
Yeah.
His apprentice, his brother, became the worst. Went from being the best, as Ahsoka says, to being one of the worst. You know, and he was his Padawan and friend, you know, and brother, and that's got to weigh on somebody. You know, this is an Obi-Wan who also, before this, like, also lost Satine Kryze, who was the only person who would have got him to leave the Jedi Order. So there's a lot of pain that Obi-Wan kind of carries with him. So I think communing with Qui-Gon would make a sense for the story that leads to him being the Obi-Wan we see in A New Hope.
Yeah.
So he's kind of at peace with himself, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes a lot of sense. So I hope that he does.
Yes, and I hope Jar Jar pops up too. And it's why, like, I'm actually serious. Like, I do hope Jar Jar comes back, just because Jar Jar is a fan favorite for kids who grew up during that era, right? He wasn't the best to us, but there's a lot of people who still love him who are now adults. So I feel it would be kind of cool to have him come back all these years later, when the kids back then are now watching like the same audience of now watches The Mandalorian as adults.
Right.
Falling in love with Star Wars and having how the end of Mandalorian season 2 with the appearance of somebody is kind of like something that really tugs at the heartstrings to original trilogy fans. I think one bringing Ewan McGregor back, obviously, but like, I think having Qui-Gon or Jar Jar also in there to kind of solidify that the prequels did happen, they are part of things, can kind of almost also redeem Jar Jar in fans' eyes. And I think if there's someone's going to do it, it's going to be this group. Like, this era of storytelling in Star Wars is going to be able to do it.
Right.
Make him another, like, a favorite again. So yeah.
So anyway, well, we'll see.
Yarp.
Okay. So now we try on our capes and cowls for Marvel news. So Deadline, which is a fairly reputable source, has reported that Chris Evans will be returning as Captain America in the MCU. And they said that they're working on the terms of his return, and that it would probably not be for a solo movie. Like, it wouldn't be a solo movie. It would be more like when what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. Made an appearance in Spider-Man
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Which I think will be very interesting.
Interesting to see like where he pops up.
Yeah, because he's older now, and it would have to be like in flashbacks
or another timeline.
Universe. Yeah,
another universe. I mean, we don't know. Like, again, I think what's exciting about tonight is that this whole multiverse storyline, I think, starts with WandaVision, and it's going to be interesting to see the MCU's take on the multiverse and how that works, and what's going on. I mean, I feel like we know that he's at least back for What If. At least voicing Captain America or Steve Rogers. But I'm just curious how this would play out. Like, where would this fall in with what's going on and stuff? I mean, is it a flashbacky thing? Is it like another kind of like Black Widow takes place before the events of the MCU so far? Ish. If it's something that's going to come out of Winter Falcon and Winter Soldier, he is Steve Rogers, so and if he wants to come back, and he come back in a little part here and there,
I'm all for it.
I'm down for it.
I'm all for him returning as anything, anywhere.
Like Chris Evans.
I think this is definitely good.
Let's just have him as Steve Rogers sitting down in that sweater from Knives Out.
Oh my God, that would have been. People would swarm to that movie if he just appeared in that sweater. They put that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Starring Chris Evans in the sweater.
In the sweater.
Yeah. That would be so funny. I'm all for it. All right. Well, other rumors about people reprising the roles. Kristen Ritter is rumored to reprise her role as Jessica Jones in She-Hulk.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, I of all of the people from the Defenders universe, I thought that she was the best, followed by Charlie Cox as Daredevil. And so, if she could, especially, she's got that that humorous side of her, and it sounds like, I mean, I don't know, but they did say that She-Hulk could be 30 minutes episodes, which leads me to believe that they're going to be more comedic. I don't know why I'm thinking of this.
Well, I feel like she's more lighthearted.
Yeah. She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And so I think that, having her come in as a PI is excellent.
Yeah, like, I don't think they've ruled out any of the Netflix characters. Because it also makes sense if we saw Daredevil, Matt Murdock, because he's also a lawyer, right? Or even like Foggy or what's her face? Oh my God, why am I blanking? Deborah Ann Wall's character.
Wait, say that again.
Deborah Ann Wall's character.
Karen Page.
Karen. I'm like, Kate. Yeah. Just like, I would love to see those guys in the MCU proper.
She was another great character, Karen Page.
Yeah. And like, I couldn't get through Iron Fist. But I like Luke Cage. I like Jessica Jones. Well, I liked half of Luke Cage. I liked all of Jessica Jones, though. I feel like they could have been a shorter season. I think some episodes just dragged a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that was the problem with the Defenders universe, was that they had it for how many episodes was it? 13 episodes. Yeah. It should have been 8 episodes.
8 to 10, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm like, some people like, will complain about the Mandalorian and like how like no episode is a specific, or like sometimes really short and sometimes it's just fine. But like I like that approach better because they tell the story they want to tell with having to limit themselves or extend themselves past what is necessary for the story. That's when you get like filler, and that's what I think if the Netflix shows were able to do that, I think it would have been a lot smoother than they went. Also, like for the gruff that the guy who plays Iron Fist gets, it will also be nice to see Heroes for Hire in the MCU. In some way, shape, or form, in a way that, again, it's one of those like redeem that character in the eyes of the fans. Just like have him be written well, without having to tell everyone that he's Danny Rand. Even though
I know that was,
I just couldn't get past the fact that like
it was hard. I mean, like getting through the first. If you could get through the first, like, I want to say 8 episodes,
just like more than half of it. That's a problem.
then it gets better.
But I just remember going like, why? Like, if you haven't seen me in like 13 years or whatever, how long he was gone, and you want prove it, I would just be like, remember that time when we were in the car, I was like 7, and you and Ronnie, like a story that comes from the child, like he was going like the most worst way to prove that he was Danny Rand.
Yeah.
Or he wouldn't want to do it. He just like insists, like, look, I'm Danny Rand. Like, we get that, dude. We haven't seen you for whatever, so prove it.
Right.
especially in the world of the MCU where they were just attacked by aliens from another, universe, whatever, and like anything could happen. It's like, dude, you were gone, and now you're back. Like, what? Prove it.
Right.
And he couldn't. So for like yelling at people, and like, I'm Danny Rand. Yeah. Get it, dude. Get it.
That's pretty much what it was like for the first 8 episodes, and
I'm just like,
I
was just like, man, why?
That series could have been so much better, and no offense to Finn Jones. The only one that was really good in that series was, I forgot her name, that played Colleen Wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the only piece that I would, and Missy was from Luke Cage, Missy Knight.
Cage, but the two of them were there.
The two of them came together as not Moon Knight, but what did they call their?
That's right. What are they?
Wing.
Oh my God! Why are we're terrible?
I know. Whatever it is, whatever they could name their detective agency. That was a reference in Iron Fist 2. Yeah, Iron Fist the second season. The second season was much better than the first season, I thought.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I personally thought it was better.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
I know. I think a lot of people gave up on him after the first season, so which was too bad. It was too
Nightwing Restoration.
Nightwing, yeah, Nightwing.
Which,
that was it.
Like, of course, it's Nightwing.
Yeah, I knew it was a name that I liked, but I couldn't remember what it was exactly.
Like, what is that thing with Misty Knight and Colleen Wing? Misty Colleen?
I kept calling it Wing Knight. I'm like, Wing Knight. No, that's not it.
Man.
Anyway.
We're getting loopy in our old age.
Right. All right. Well, let's move on to the next story before we start completely unraveling. Kevin Feige confirmed that Deadpool 3 will take place in the MCU and will have an R rating. He additionally said that the X-Men are still coming to the MCU and that they have been strongly discussing it at Marvel Studios. So
yes, and yes.
Yeah, I mean, Deadpool is a proven commodity as a R rating. I'm just curious to see how they're going to incorporate him into the MCU. Now that is going to be the interesting part of it.
I mean, I feel like Doctor Strange is going to open it up. It's kind of like the catch-all kind of thing. You know, it's almost like how time travel is also a catch-all sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It's still the comic universe. Of course, these things can happen. You know, before people kind of get caught up in like reality and whatever. And I think Phase 4 or whatever this is kind of like reminding people that this is a comic book universe. I mean, look at the names of the movies again, like the Quantum Mania, Love and Thunder, the Multiverse of Madness. It sounds like such camp, right? And I think it's gonna like, look, remember, this is still a comic universe, and anything can happen. And so, you know, with Deadpool, I would love to see like, yes, the rated R Deadpool, but then him appear in like maybe like Ant-Man, because Ant-Man tends to be a lot more comedy, or Guardians or something, right? Where he just is there. But since he's the self-aware one, he knows he can't swear. Or if he does, like they give him the, like in if you watch Scott Pilgrim, like whenever Oz's character swears, it's the that blackout thing, and then the beep.
Right.
That
would be funny.
He would have to be used in a less serious movie.
I think Ant-Man is kind of an interesting choice.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know, you know, whatever titles are coming out that are more of the lighthearted fare, you know. So you know, it'd be great though if when they introduce the X-Men, and you know, I have a feeling it's not going to be strictly like the original X-Men, where it's just Iceman, Beast, Cyclops, Archangel, and Jean Grey. I think they're gonna have to incorporate, like, Wolverine's gonna be in there somewhere, because you can't. Everyone's gonna go crazy. Like, they can't wait for Wolverine, right? Whoever they cast, whatever. But if Deadpool is in this universe and they bring in a new Cyclops or Colossus, I want to see that meeting.
I think that would be cool if the Colossus was the Colossus.
Was it the Colossus? either way, it was the same
Yeah.
Colossus or it's another new Colossus, and like Deadpool's the only one who knows that.
Right. I think that would be really.
Yeah. So
He does have that kind of knowledge, so.
yeah, because again, he's like self-aware.
Right.
Like, he knows he's in the comic. That's what's cool about him. That's why if they use him right, and I think by this, I mean at this point they've been doing this for 10 years. Kevin Feige is like the king of somehow of like the web. He's got it all kind of like there. He's like that conspiracy theory guy with like all the pins and string. Everybody he knows. So it's not a conspiracy; it's his plan, and he's got it all, and he knows exactly where to put things. Like I'm sure knows how to use Deadpool
Right.
correctly and where it's appropriate. Like I couldn't see him in a heavy movie, like like he wouldn't fit in like Winter Soldier or something like that, like along those lines. It'd be weird and jarring. Whereas, I mean, definitely Guardians of the Galaxy, he can fit anywhere with those guys. Thor maybe, because that gets a little lighthearted, but definitely I think he can fit in Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, Ant-Man. I can definitely see him with Ant-Man.
Yeah. So.
It'll be interesting. I think that I do want them to start out with the original X-Men, but I agree. People are going to want Wolverine. I think people are going to want Storm. I want Nightcrawler.
I think they're gonna. Something has to they have to almost kind of take from almost like the original X-Men movie. Like I liked. They had them all. Like they had Storm, even though she wasn't an original. We didn't get Iceman right away, and we didn't get Beast really. But I think that team worked.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if Gambit is still like, because I feel like in the '90s Gambit was a big thing. I don't know if he still is.
I think he still is actually. I think. Yeah, they had a whole series with Mr. and Mrs. X-Men or whatever. I can't remember. Mr. and Mrs. X. It was him and Rogue. That was a recent series.
I would like to see them do Rogue well. I think what's funny about Rogue is that like she couldn't do Anna Paquin didn't do a Southern accent.
Mm-hmm.
But then she played what's her face in True Blood and had a super Southern accent.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
As she progressed in her career, like she was able to do it and pull it off. Like you forget she's like British.
Yeah.
But I, like in an MCU where Captain Marvel exists, and you bring in Rogue before that meeting, where Rogue becomes Rogue,
right?
It'd be kind of interesting. But I mean, like I think the main thing, like Cyclops will have to be there, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
I feel you can kind of sacrifice Warren. I feel like Beast should be there though. I feel like.
Yeah.
Iceman, but like even you bring in Storm, like definitely. I would actually like to see bring in actual Jubilee.
Yeah.
To pal around with the young Avengers.
Yeah.
Or have them actually be kids. Like it is a school. Make them like school age.
Right. That's what I would like to see them.
And not
younger.
Like and again, not in the Breakfast Club way. Like have them actually look like kids.
Or at least college students. Because I think that's what they were supposed to be. And
I mean, it's higher learning, but that could mean just gifted.
Right.
But I mean, like I can see them as older. Like I'm not saying like maybe like Peter Parker in the first two movies young, but like seniors, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
definitely wanted to see them still in that school. Like there's a school that opens, and
Right.
they're the first students, kind of thing.
Right.
So so much can happen.
I know. We'll just have to see what happens. How they put it. The one thing is that we just have to have trust in Kevin Feige to know what to do, because he's not steered us wrong in 10 years. So why would he do it now?
There was speaking of Kevin Feige, there was another piece of news, but it wasn't really substantial. Like there wasn't really anything that came out of it. But they asked him about Star Wars.
Did they?
And he gave a little like non-answers. That's why I didn't kind of include it, because it didn't really reveal much. It's just that yes, he is still obviously he's still working on it. They asked him if he's working on anything more than the movie, the one movie that's known, and he's kind of said no, but it is Kevin Feige.
Right.
Right. And so that's the only thing that really came out of it, and then that was it. So that's why I'm like, it's not really news. But to tack onto this, like he's got a lot of things on his plate, and it's crazy. And I'm like, when does this guy rest? Does he rest? Is it like, are we watching the real life multiplicity where he's cloned himself? And he's doing all these things. But
I bet you it's he is.
Right. He's
I wouldn't doubt it.
He's what's the guy on well, I don't know what team he is on. He used to be on X Factor. Jamie, but what's his like multiple man? What's his name?
Jamie Madrox.
Yeah, what's his character? Like his hero name.
The multiple. I think it's a multiple man.
Okay, yeah. Jamie Madrox. Is it Madrox or Madrox?
Madrox.
Yeah, like that guy. He's just him. He just hits himself and then boom.
Yeah. That's Kevin Feige right there.
Yeah. And I know people didn't like the way Psylocke was portrayed, but I still think Olivia Munn can play Psylocke. If they gave her Psylocke and not what we got. Because she's gone on to say like she loves Psylocke, and she admits like it wasn't what
I've seen her like wield that sword.
She still has it. She did a video with it, and she was like, "Yep, did all this training for like 2 seconds of whatever." But there seemed to be like a little like I feel like when she did it, she was still early in her career, so she didn't want to, burn any bridges or whatever. But you can now it's been a while. She's kind of like, that wasn't really the Psylocke I would have wanted to portray. But
what movie did she do that in? What was she in Psylocke in?
Apocalypse.
That was an awful movie. That's probably why I blocked it out of my head.
Yeah, I mean, like, she looked good. I mean, the power looked fine. It's just like she was made into not Psylocke. Like, they didn't know what to do with her.
The whole story was awful. That's why.
Yeah, the one where they threw in Wolverine for no apparent reason.
I know. It's like,
Though, the only thing that came out of that movie that I really, really enjoyed was the Quicksilver scene.
Yeah, the Quicksilver was, I mean, there were some good parts to it, but it's like, there were also some good parts in Dark Phoenix, and still, awful, so.
Yeah.
If they could just delete those last 2 movies, then.
Which is sad. I like First Class, and I like Days of Future Past. I mean, like, for that universe of the X-Men, I like them. But I know my favorite X-Men movie is still X2, because you can't, like, that Nightcrawler scene in the beginning of X2 was still one of the best comic scenes in cinema.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. The Spider-Verse film Morbius is delayed again, but not for reasons that you think. The studio apparently has a lot of faith in the movie and is trying to push it back for a greater theatrical release rather than, try to, eventually be forced onto a streaming service. So they push it back. And I'm actually very curious to see this film. I enjoyed the trailer from what I saw. So
I mean, it seems to tie into the Spider Universe at very least.
Yeah.
Which then connects it to the MCU. So it's like, I want to see how this plays out. And a character like this, how it plays with audiences. So
I'm really hoping that whatever Sony is doing with the Spider-Verse here is leading into Spider-Man basically becoming a part of the MCU, like officially,
like proper.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Like, Marvel to me began with Spider-Man, so I am, and I definitely enjoy what they've done with the character in the Tom Holland era, including Into the Spider-Verse. So again, that movie is also crazy good. Like,
that movie is even better than the Tom Holland movie.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because I love the Tom Holland movies.
Yeah. Like, all three of those things are like top-notch Spider-Man to me. And I love Spider-Man 2, the Doc Ock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I feel like mostly it's because of Doc Ock. I feel like that's why I really love that movie. Is because of how they portrayed Dr. Octavius and Alfred Molina's portrayal.
Yeah. And that epic scene on the train.
Yeah. And I enjoyed the Andrew Garfield ones for what they were, but they painted themselves into a corner and they couldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
But I think Tom Holland does a great Peter Parker out of the three of them.
Oh, definitely.
And I think the stories are a little more coherent. Cohesive, not coherent, cohesive than the other ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, when Spider-Man first came out with Tobey Maguire, it was like, what? Like we got the big screen Spider-Man and we was swinging around New York and it was fine. It's aged a bit, but I'm excited if, I don't think it's been official, but the rumors are true that we're going to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Alfred Molina in wherever they're cooking up for Spider-Man. Because I think this is like, tonight, it's not going to answer everything, but I think we're going to start peeling back what the multiverse of madness is and how that ties into what Phase 4 is going to be about.
Well, it was interesting. Benedict Cumberbatch actually made an appearance in the launch of it, and I thought, he was like saying a lot of gibberish, but at the same time, it was kind of like, oh, is this our wig nod nod to him?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I'm wondering if this is like some kind of confirmation or something. Yeah. I mean, who knows?
What I got from Paul Bettany during one of the talk shows is that it's like the sitcom-y thing, but then eventually it gets to the MCU where you realize what's going on, whatever it is that's going on.
Yeah.
And I think like if he's going to make an appearance, it's going to be at the end because it does tie into Multiverse of Madness, so it kind of
Mm-hmm.
makes sense that he'd appear somewhere, probably the last episode. I would imagine it's the last episode.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't treat. I'm so intrigued by, because they do, like, they're both super powered heroes in a sitcom world.
Yeah.
They're going to use their powers, but they filmed it in front of a live studio audience. So they did everything practically, and I want to see what that means and what they did. And it just sounds like a very creative way to tell this story, and then it's exciting.
Yeah, I just got.
And we will talk about it.
I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. I cannot wait. Look, I got my little. We try and make sure that I put it in right here. Boo, boo, boo.
Nice.
Black and white Wanda and Vision.
That's cool.
I also have. I know.
I was gonna say,
Halloween.
Oh, nice. Funko's having a Funko Fest like in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a lot of announcements. I suspect. So
I know.
So there you go. I also upset, like, Hasbro put out a She-Hulk figure and like sold out before I knew it happened.
Really? God, I didn't even know. That's the thing. Is like
that's the second time. Like, they also released Firestar. I said that last week, and it sold out before I got a chance to actually get it. And
yeah, they keep putting these things out and not telling anybody until it's too late. And I maybe I just don't pay attention or whatever. But like even Disney Wishables, they put out an Alice in Wonderland set and a transportation set. All of them are sold out on ShopDisney.com. I'm like, how is that possible? I checked the website like almost daily. How is that possible that I missed it? I have no idea. It's irritating.
But, yeah, that's why I'm like, their new there's a new plushie series that they're releasing.
Oh yeah, there's Are you talking about the D23 one, the subscription box, or you're talking about those Numinos?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Numinos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to wait and see what those look like.
What they look like?
Well,
or what they look like in person.
Yeah, what they look like in person, or actually. Not what they look like, how much they cost. That's going to be gonna be the big factor there.
But I feel like, who knows? Because it's going to be on Shop Disney as well.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stress. I asked my sister, I'm like, should I start collecting these for Cassiana now, or?
Right. And because now they also have Stitch. The Stitch monthly thing. And I'm like, I can't keep up.
Yeah. Like I spent a year trying to get all those minis, and that was crazy enough as it is. I'm not gonna try. Yeah. That's the thing I'm not gonna try. Like, I already deal with Hasbro and Star Wars stuff. That's enough for me. I can't. It's so hard to buy toys nowadays.
It is.
Without having a Toys R Us anymore, and like, I feel like it's more aimed towards collectors instead of kids. So do you remember the days of going to Toys R Us and like there's a whole aisle of like Star Wars stuff, and like there's 30 of each character, so you'll never sit there going like, I can't find it.
Yeah. Even like Target used to have half a wall of Star Wars figures and all this, all this goodness.
All collectors and whatever, and but
or the for our store never seems to be stocked with anything, and it's just you go in there and it's always bare shelves, and I'm like, ugh. Anyway.
It's because if that's the case, it's usually because the employees get to them first.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, we've gotten way off the rails here. So let's go back to Beyond the Gates for our non-traditional Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars news. So Disney Plus, there's going to be a Disney Plus series called First Gen in the works from Yvonne Orji, who is a Nigerian comedian. And it's going to be semi-autobiographical about her life. And it's interesting to note that Oprah Winfrey and David Oyelowo, I'm so sorry, I'm totally butchering names here, but they are producers of the show.
Do you know? I guess I don't know what it's about, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but
yeah, I'm curious to see what it's about. I mean, I'm glad that they're doing a series. It sounds like it's not going to be a kid series, which I think is interesting. But The Mandalorian, obviously, and WandaVision are not. It just seems like Disney Plus has, like, most of the series that it's developing are series like family series or whatever. This one seems like it's more traditional sitcom. And so I'm curious to see how this will work out on Disney Plus, but I'm for it because it is about, a diverse viewpoint, in a comedy series. So I'll definitely watch it.
So just to throw this out there, David Oyelowo is the voice of Agent Callus in Rebels.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's who the voice you did the voice for.
Yeah.
He's such a great actor. Did you ever see The Queen of Cockaway?
No, it's still on my list of things
really
I want to check out. Because I remember when we were there at the Disney or D23 when they announced it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things where I was like, oh, okay. The year that Lupita was like in everything.
Yeah, she was. She should get her own EGOT.
They brought her out for like every single announcement, but it looked interesting to me. Like I wanted to see it. And
she should be a Disney legend.
Like, what has she not done?
I know. She's done Star Wars.
She's done
Marvel. She's
Disney.
done Disney. That's all, what else can she do?
I feel like she's got to be at some point. She's going to be.
She's done a lot of Disney. I mean, she's done the voice of in Jungle Book, and was she in Lion King as well? I can't remember. I know definitely Jungle Book, and she's done a lot. She's done quite a bit.
I mean, like, anyway. She's got to be on the list to receive it, if not soon. At some point, she's gonna.
Yeah.
She's got.
I'm gonna campaign for her like I did with Ming-Na Wen. Because it works. She won after I had campaigned for her.
Nice. And look, and now Ming-Na Wen is also now have her own series.
Yes. See?
Right.
It just only goes to show what one person can do. Get out there and vote, people. That's your public service announcement.
She was not in Lion King.
But okay. Yeah.
So
I know she's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But like I'm looking at her IMDb, like What is this James and the Giant Peach with Taika and Friends? Did they do one of those like readings of James and the Giant Peach?
Maybe.
Like they
I
kind
don't
of did?
know.
Because it's like Josh Gad, Lupita Nyong'o. I guess it's made by Taika Waititi. So it's like, it sounds
They
like it's one of
must
those
have.
like how like they did Princess Bride, like a whole bunch of celebrities just went through it like on Zoom.
Oh my God, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Like a Taika Waititi directed reading of James and the Giant Peach. That would be awesome. Anyway, I can't believe we've gone from a Taika Waititi from the Yvonne Orji sitcom to Taika Waititi's directed James and the Giant Peach. We really get sidetracked.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we should end this puppy before we start getting into other topics. Anyway, be sure to like this post and leave a comment below. Share our post with your family and friends, please. Again, be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you can find out what we're posting next. You can always reach us on at podcast@castlescapesandclones.com. Leave us your feedback, good or bad. We'd love to hear from you. You can always reach me personally at Lojav and on Twitter and at Loren Javier on Instagram. How about you, Rich?
You can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at R2 Roma Santa.
All right. Well, the opinions expressed on today's podcast are solely our own and do not represent the Walt Disney Company, its subsidiaries, or assets. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you later. Goodbye, guys.
Yep. Catch you on the flip side.